Hey everybody. So in this video, I'm going to do a review of the Super 7 Ultimates Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Lord Zedd figure. So I actually got this figure from Entertainment Earth. And it was kind of weird because I actually pre-ordered this figure way back when it first went up, going on, I guess, a year and a half at this point. Pre-ordered it on Big Bad Toy Store because that's where I do all of my pre-orders. And it was, delayed like always because that's Super 7's usual thing. And then I actually saw it go up on Entertainment Earth, and it's the same price. So I was like, all right, well, no sense of ordering it on Entertainment Earth just because they got it sooner. It's the same price as my pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store, and I'll just wait. So I waited, a couple days went by, and then Entertainment Earth decided to go ahead and do a buy one, get one half off, special, I guess, for, whatever, holidays and all that. And of course, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, they've been doing some crazy sales on Super 7 Ultimates lately. Lots of us toy collectors have been taking advantage of that. We don't need to go into all those details because I'll get off on one of my Super 7 tangents, which I don't want to do in this video, unless anything goes wrong, which we shall see. What I ended up doing was I went on to Entertainment Earth. I started looking around, seeing what all they had available, and lo and behold, they had this King Sphinx figure, which I did not get because I was actually very happy with my Lightning Collection King Sphinx figure after I added some paint details, because I did need to add quite a bit of paint to that King Sphinx. But with this King Sphinx, which is interesting, is it was marked as one of the not mint figures. So it was cheaper. It was like $40 instead of 55. So I thought, all right, now if I get the Lord Zedd figure, pay full price for that one, which is fine because I was going to pay full price anyway because I pre-ordered it. And then if I order this King Sphinx figure, I'll get it for half off because of the sale that they had going on. Buy one, get one half off. I'll still have enough to get free shipping. And that's what I did. So I basically got both of these figures for $75. I got the free shipping deal. I got the buy one, get one half off deal. And I really feel like I made out really great with that deal. So I basically got each of these for like $37.50, which is fantastic. So could not beat that at all. Now, the King Sphinx figure has been out for a while. It was one that I really thought looked pretty cool. I just didn't need it because, again, I was happy with the Lightning Collection figure. That one went on super clearance anyway, but I paid full price for a Lightning Collection figure. And then when I picked the King Sphinx figure up, you hear that, right? So I was like, oh no. I thought not mint just meant like there was a little ding in the package or something. I didn't know that it was going to be broken, right? So if we open him up, he looks fine. And I was like, wait, what is happening? So I guess he's not mint because one of his wings came loose in the packaging, and that's the only thing I see wrong. So I guess, I mean, that's why he was like $15 off, is just because his wing has come loose. I think. We're going to find out because I am going to unbox this guy as well, and we're going to take a look at him. But the star of the show, the reason we're here, is the brand new Lord Zedd figure. Definitely one of my favorite Power Ranger villains of all time. So let's get a look at the back. There is the Power Ranger logo. And there he is. So the Lord Zedd figure looks really cool. He is a little small. And we are going to do plenty of comparisons here, but just real quick, even the sizes of the box are very, very different. If you look at Lord Zedd next to King Sphinx here in the packaging, just the sizes of the boxes are just like insanely different here. I mean, if you just, yeah, like very different, which, I mean, I guess that's okay, but I would have kind of liked Lord Zedd to be in scale with the rest of the monsters, like kind of a bigger, bulkier Lord Zedd, the way that King Sphinx and Goldar are kind of bigger and bulkier. They kind of scale more with the Zords than with the Rangers. But I guess the idea was for Lord Zedd to scale with the Rangers instead of the monsters. I don't know. But it is what it is. Again, you know, like I said, I got a great deal on these. So I did end up spending less on Lord Zedd than I would have if my pre-order had gone through. So, you know, I can't really complain, you know, because I did end up getting a great deal on both of these guys. And he does look cool. I will say the alternate heads right away, it doesn't look like that big of a difference on camera, and I've seen other reviews. In person, you can tell the difference in the visor colors. This one's just the regular, and then this one is supposed to be when he's using his Zedd vision, like basically like, you know, using his like telescopic vision to see what's going on Earth. So a little different. I mean, it's fine. I would have liked to maybe have a power effect that like hooks up there, you know, kind of like Cyclops from X-Men, where it just kind of like shoots out, like a beam shoots out. That would have been cool. Okay. The snake looks cool. I know it's not a bendy wire thing, which also would have been nice, but that's okay. Probably not going to use this with Lord Zedd. I may put this with like G.I. Joe Cobra figures. I think that that would kind of look cool with like Serpentor. We'll see. I don't know what I'm doing with the snake yet. If I spin this around, there is the picture of Lord Zedd from the show. And if you want to read his bio, you can go ahead and pause the video and read his bio. But I have very, very fond memories of this villain. I will always remember how, you know, the 3-part episode, The Mutiny, it came on prime time. I think it was like 8 o'clock at night. It was a huge, huge deal for Power Ranger fans. Power Rangers being on like later at night. I remember it was like dark out and we're introduced to Lord Zedd, and he was scary in the beginning. Like he was super, super scary for little kids. In fact, I've heard stories about how they had to like kind of like dumb him down a little bit because parents were upset as to how scared their kids were. And yeah, so that's why kind of Lord Zedd started to become like a little bit of a joke and kind of like you know, he kind of became a you know, goofball after a while. But in the beginning, he was pretty scary and a very awesome original villain. So many of us enjoyed Lord Zedd as a bad guy in Power Rangers. He brought a lot more kind of life to the show, and just a classic villain. So let's get him out of here. Let's see what he's all about. And of course, we're going to do a bunch of comparisons. All right, everybody, we are back here with Lord Zedd from Super7, and he's okay. I am glad that I saved the money that I saved on the figure. I have thoroughly heated him up, and now he's ready to move around, and we can see what's what here. So first of all, here is the alternate head sculpt, which obviously I have not switched out yet. I probably will, just because I do like the slightly brighter, lighter red. And you know, the detail on the actual brain, and you know, like the finish on the you know, shiny chrome paint, it does look really good. And then also, I didn't notice this until I started messing around with him more, but the paint on the head that came out of the package. If you notice here, there is just a bit of scuffing and just a little bit of kind of some marks on the red. You can kind of see how there's some, marks. I mean, you have to look pretty close, but it's just on the alternate head. It's just a little bit better done. There's just less marks and less paint slop on the alternate head. So another reason, for me to switch that out. The tubes are pretty cool. You just have to be careful that they don't come out of the little holes. So the head, of course, goes side to side, and it tilts back and forth, so that's kind of nice. He does have this diaphragm cut, which I wasn't sure about at first. The pictures of the figure. So he does kind of move up and down a bit, and then his waist also turns. So you kind of have like the diaphragm turn and the waist turn. Single jointed elbows, and then you just have to be careful with like the elbows and the shoulders because of all these plastic tubes. You don't want them to break, and if they pop out of the holes, that's just another thing you're going to have to deal with. Wrists are pretty tight, which is good. Sometimes Super 7 Ultimates, the wrists are like really like kind of shallow and they can fall out, so those are pretty good. Now the hips are probably where the issue is, because there's a really big gap in his hips, especially in his right hip. And I guess that's so, he can kick forward and go out to the side real easy so things don't get stuck. And that's fine, but when you just have him kind of standing there, you can see like this very noticeable gap in his hip. And it just looks a little weird. It just kind of takes something away from the figure a bit. But, it just kind of is what it is. Now, his knees are a bit tight. And of course, single jointed knees like we always get from Super 7. And the ankles are really, really tight. Like I'm a little scared to bend the ankles around too much. Lord Zedd isn't exactly known for being super, flexible and he's not exactly a gymnast or anything. So, it's fine for what it is. I do like the paint and the detail. So, that's fine. Now, I will tell you that his staff is really awesome. So if you look, his staff is basically as tall as he is. And it's a really nice, like silvery, shiny paint. And I really, really like this staff. And it has just like some heft to it. Like, obviously it's not metal, but it feels nice in hand. And it just looks really cool. Like, I really, really like the staff. Of course, we get a whole bunch of hands. So let me see if I can get a hold of all these hands here without dropping them. So he has gripping hands out of the package. And here is, I guess this is a tighter gripping hand. And the detail on the hands is pretty good. Here is another tighter gripping hand. So I guess any of these gripping hands will work on the staff. Here's a set of fists. It's nice having the fists, but I rarely ever put the fists on them, just because it's nice to have them holding their weapons. He's got like a claw kind of hand, which is cool. Here is some more clawed hands. Don't really know the difference in these, but it's just some more kind of reaching out to grab you hands. And then this one I really do like, so I probably will use this one. It's a pointing hand, because if there's one thing Lord Zedd loves to do, it's point at his minions and point at his enemies. So I do really like that we got a pointing hand. I probably will go ahead and use the pointing hand with him. Just Lord Zedd is the type of villain that, points. And then we get 3 of his growth bombs or growth grenades. So this is what he would throw down to earth for the monsters to catch in order to grow. So we get 3 of these. I'm pretty sure they're identical. So these are nice. I mean, these are fine. This one's got a little bit of paint mess on it, but I guess maybe that's what this claw hand is for. Yeah, because that kind of fits perfectly in there. So yeah, see, look, you can even, like, it really grips it well. So if you want to display him, getting ready to kind of throw one of these, you can certainly do that with this hand. So I think that hand, this one might work too. Let's see. I'm pretty sure Lord Zedd was right-handed, so he would throw him with the right hand. But yeah, so yeah, you can put these in, kind of the clawed hands, and it works really well. They really grip them really good. So there you go. There is Lord Zedd's hands and his accessories. And of course, we can't forget his snake. So again, this is not bendy wire. It's just kind of stuck in this one position. Pretty sure I'm going to put this with my Serpentor figure from G.I. Joe Classified. Just because anytime I get like any kind of snake accessory, I usually just put it with my Cobra figures. Yeah, probably what I'm going to do with it. I can't imagine that I would need to have this with Lord Zedd. But you can kind of put it on him just like that. I did not get the throne. I actually have a throne that I got from Etsy a while back that I painted. I can probably go ahead and grab that. I didn't think to grab it, but I can grab that in a second here. But yeah, the snake is cool. I mean, it's a good accessory that you can not necessarily always have to use with Lord Zedd. So comparisons. Let's take a look at that, because I think that's probably the thing that most people are interested in. I know that that's what I'm mostly interested in. So first off, we have Super 7 Lord Zedd compared to Lightning Collection Lord Zedd. So this Lord Zedd is the one from the 2-pack, because he's the one that has the painted fingers or knuckles. I can't remember, but something wasn't painted on the original release Lord Zedd. I do like the brighter red for sure. And then obviously, Lightning Collection is 6-inch scale and Ultimates are 7-inch scale, so he's bigger. And let's see, I have his staff, and really, like, the staffs are night and day difference if I hold them up here. The Super 7 staff is way shinier, way bigger. It's just way better. Which, kind of expected. Articulation on the Lightning Collection Lord Zedd is, I think, a lot better. He doesn't have, obviously, the gaps in the hips. And, he's just doesn't feel as fragile as the Super 7 figure. And I feel like the sculpting and details and stuff, it's about equal, honestly. I feel like I definitely like the brighter red, but I also kind of like that this guy kind of scales a little better with some of the other figures. I don't know. They definitely both have, pros and cons, but I really do like the Lightning Collection figure, I gotta say. All right, let's see what else we can compare with. I have a whole bunch of stuff. So first off, let's take a look at the Super 7 Lord Zedd with the Super 7 Rita. And she is very hard to stand. So yeah, I'm gonna probably just hold her. So you can see that they definitely scale together really well. I think they look great together, honestly. I just wish I could get her to stand, but she's got these high heels and it's very hard to get her to stand. But I mean, they do look really good together. Now, here is the Lightning Collection Rita, but I have got the Kimberly head on her because that's just what I decided to do. So you can see, obviously, a little too short there because this is the one that's supposed to go with this Lord Zedd. So obviously the Lightning Collection scales with Lightning Collection, but the Super 7 Kimberly head goes great on the Lightning Collection Rita figure. So there you go. All right. Next comparison will be with Goldar. So here is the Super 7 Goldar, which is definitely one of my favorite figures of the year. And you can see that he is quite a bit bigger than Lord Zedd. And, this might be one of my biggest issues with the Super 7 Lord Zedd. is Lord Zedd should be the same size as Goldar. I love how big and bulky they made Goldar. So basically, Goldar scales with the Zords and not the Rangers. Lord Zedd scales with the Rangers and Rita, but not with Goldar. And it's just weird. So now you can't really have Goldar and Lord Zedd from the Super 7 Ultimates together. I just feel like Goldar's too big or Lord Zedd's too small, depending on how you look at it. Because really, Goldar should not be, that much bigger than Lord Zedd. It's just kind of weird. I mean, I kind of get it, but I absolutely love this Goldar figure. I think this figure is super well done. Just the details, the gold paint, it just blows me away. I mean, I just think that this figure is fantastic. So let's take a look at the Super 7 Lord Zedd with the Lightning Collection Goldar. And yeah, that's what I thought. So now, Lightning Collection Goldar is too small because Lord Zedd should not tower over Goldar either. So, it kind of is what it is. Let's do Putty Patrollers next. So here is the Super 7 Ultimates Putty Patroller. I tried to make it look like a Lord Zedd putty, but the problem is Lord Zedd putties don't have belts. So I guess it just kind of is what it is. And I don't know, I think the Putty Patrollers are usually about the same size as Lord Zedd too. So this one is obviously smaller. It's fine. I got this one of the big sales that Entertainment Earth was having. It's the only reason I bought it. I really did not need this Putty Patroller at all. Speaking of Putty Patrollers, one of my favorite figures is the Z Putty from the Lightning Collection line. So if you want to see the putties together, I guess, obviously 7-inch scale versus 6-inch scale. Honestly, I still like the Lightning Collection putties way more than the Super 7 putty. I have 3 of the regular putties, 3 of the Lord Zedd putties. I think the Putty Patrollers the Lightning Collection put out are fantastic. But yeah, so you can see the differences there in height. And I don't know, I feel like even this is too short to go with that Lord Zedd, but it is what it is. All right, let's take a look at Rangers now. So here is the Super 7 Ultimates Green Ranger. And yeah, so now you can see it's still not quite right, okay? Because now this is the regular Ranger body, and the Green Ranger is the only one I have. I don't have any of the other Super 7 Rangers. And he's too short. Or Lord Zedd's too tall. Like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like there's just a scale issue. Because now Lord Zedd is too big to really go with the Rangers. I mean, it's not too bad, but at the same time, Lord Zedd was not like hugely, bigger than a normal person. So now Lord Zedd's a little too big to go with the Rangers, but he's a little too small to go with Goldar and the Monsters. So I don't know. But yeah, here is Super 7 Lord Zedd with a Super 7 Ranger. And then if you want to see Lightning Collection Ranger, here is Lightning Collection Remastered Green Ranger. So of course, that's way out of scale. And then something that I thought may actually work, and let's see, because I haven't looked at this yet. Nah, it's still not quite right. Let me see. Yeah, so, but this is the Bandai Green Ranger from pretty far back in the day. Still too small. So yeah, I mean, there's your comparisons there. I mean, I think it's just a standalone Lord Zedd figure, or if you want to put the Lord Zedd with, you know, with the Super 7 Rita, I think that would work as, you know, pair them up. Let me go grab my Lord Zedd throne real quick. So again, this is not the Super 7 throne. This is a throne that I bought off of Etsy that I had to paint myself. I feel like this would still work. I mean, this is what I use for the Lightning Collection Lord Zedd. Let's see if I can get him in a seated position. Probably the other reason why they made the hips like this is so he can actually sit, because sometimes, you know, Super 7 figures don't sit very well. Yeah, so he doesn't fit. But again, you know, this is the throne that I use for my, you know, my Lightning Collection Lord Zedd, which of course he fits perfectly fine in because it's for a smaller figure. So swap him out, and there you go. So yeah, I mean, again, if I didn't get such a good deal on these guys, I probably wouldn't be too happy about it. I mean, of course, I had to have Lord Zedd because Lord Zedd is one of my favorite villains of all time. And I do like the brighter red, and I will be swapping out the head. I love the Z staff. But yeah, a little bit disappointed. I'm just glad that I technically did not pay full price for him. Now, let's look at the other figure, which is King Sphinx. So here is the Super 7 King Sphinx, which I only got because he was one of those not mint figures, and I needed it for free shipping, and you know, it was buy one get one half off. So the way I look at it is I got King Sphinx and Lord Zedd for $37, but what actually happened is I paid full price for Lord Zedd and basically paid $20 for this guy. But however you want to look at it, doesn't matter. So again, heated this guy up real good. Took a while to get the wings on, but I did manage to get the wings on in there pretty good. Heated up the wing joints really, really good, which I would highly recommend with any time a Super 7 figure has wings or like a small joint like that. But they did go on pretty good, and you know what? He looks great. He really does. You know, the tail is nice and articulated. The paint details are good. I will say his diaphragm joint is very, very loose and wobbly. So, you know, like the wings will kind of like weigh him back. Oh, well, now it's not really doing it. So I guess maybe I fixed it. So yeah, it's not as wobbly as it was before. So yeah. Oh yeah, there it goes. So yeah, so it's just he's wobbly right there, but you know, the arms and the knees are all fine. The hips are really good, actually. The ankle joints are really good. It's just for whatever reason, he's very wobbly in the torso and at the waist. But he really does look cool. I'm glad I picked this figure up. Really didn't need to, because if I show you my Lightning Collection King Sphinx, I did add the paint details myself. So painted in the mouth and the nose, because Lightning Collection, Hasbro, for whatever reason, they decided not to paint the mouth and the nose. So I painted the mouth and the nose myself. I also painted in the hieroglyphs on the chest. I painted the red on the on his little beard. And I thought I painted the shoulders, but I think I did that on my other figure, which I actually ended up painting the wings, and it didn't come out too well. So I actually got rid of that, but yeah. So there's the comparison with the Super 7 King Sphinx and the Lightning Collection King Sphinx that I've added paint to. And yeah, I mean, they both look cool. The Super 7 figure, absolutely, you can tell, is based more off of the vintage toy from the early 90s, which was the more 8-inch scale anyway. And I could dig that figure out, but it would be a mess trying to get to that figure. But I do have that figure. If you look up pictures of the original King Sphinx from way back in the day, the lighter blue and yellows and just the way the face is definitely kind of is more based off of that. whereas this one is kind of a little bit more subdued. It looks more, I don't want to say realistic, but it just doesn't look as kind of cartoony as that original figure did. But it's weird because I wasn't going to get the King Sphinx at all, and then it was basically $20, so why not? And I'm really happy that I got the King Sphinx. I'm kind of actually happier with the King Sphinx than with the Lord Zedd, which is weird because I really wanted the Lord Zedd more. But here's the alternate head where he's kind of like laughing or grinning, which I may actually put this head on just to give him a little bit more personality, but that's pretty cool. We've got a few hands, not as many hands as Lord Zedd had, but he's got fists on him, and we've got these tight gripping hands. We've got, I guess we have another gripping hand. Okay, yeah, so we have a gripping hand with the vertical hinge and then another gripping hand with the horizontal hinge. So that's often what they give us. We have kind of a pointing hand, which is sort of kind of what the Hasbro figure has. We've got just like a more kind of open, relaxed hand. Yeah, and then like I said, so we have the gripping hands with the horizontal and gripping hands with the vertical. And of course, we have his staff, which does have more paint and brighter yellow than the Hasbro Lightning Collection version. And of course, it's also bigger, which it should be. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with the King Sphinx figure. Much happier than I thought I would be, and I'm really glad I picked him up. So sometimes that's just what happens. It's like the figure that you're looking forward to the most kind of sort of disappoints you, and then the figure that you didn't even really want, it surprises you and makes you happier. So let's take a look at the King Sphinx figure with some other Super 7 figures. So here is King Sphinx with Goldar. They look great together. So yeah, this is fantastic. So yeah, love this. The King Sphinx Goldar team up was just one of my favorite episodes. Very early episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but absolutely one of my favorites. I think that he looks absolutely great with Goldar. Love how they scale together. I can bring in the Lord Zedd again, so you're going to see now. Of course, Lord Zedd and King Sphinx had nothing to do with each other, but just that the Lord Zedd is too small. I feel like they should have made him scale with the monsters better, and we could have gotten a bigger, bulkier Lord Zedd the way that we got a bigger, bulkier Goldar. Here's King Sphinx with the Green Ranger, which of course the Green Ranger didn't exist yet when the King Sphinx episode aired. But just in terms of scale, you can see that he's just way too big. King Sphinx was definitely the size of the Rangers in that episode. So King Sphinx is just meant to go with the Zords, which is fine. Again, I'm just happy that King Sphinx scales with the Super 7 Goldar. I think they look great together. Now, I did go ahead and grab my favorite Lightning Collection monster, which is the Minotaur. And you can see that these guys actually go together pretty well. And of course, they are early season 1 monsters. If I can get them to stand, there we go. So yeah, these guys actually look really cool together. And I kind of had a feeling they would. And yeah, I mean, I could work on the posing a little bit more. I just think that this King Sphinx, next to the Lightning Collection monsters, would look really good. So yeah, very happily surprised by the Super 7 King Sphinx figure. I think he's awesome. A little loose in the torso, but I can certainly get over that. The Lord Zedd, a little disappointing, but still glad to have him. So that's my review. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a good one.